Hey everyone, just wanted to make a video on some upgrades I want to be doing to the 2020 Mustang here. Just because I can't find anything like it out there, I thought I'd show my process of what I'm doing. I want to be adding ambient lighting to the interior of the Mustang here. I'll show a little bit. This is the 2020 GT Premium with all the options, including the My Color and the digital dash. So what I want to be doing is adding this lighting, but throughout the car, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So if we take a look at here on the door, this is where the door handle normally goes. You can see the light here that goes into that, which comes with a My Color that you can set in the car. I want to tap into this so that my ambient lighting runs the same color, so I don't have to be using a little remote or anything. So let me show you on the back what I have set up for now. We have that, the LED that comes with it. There are 4 wires there, and I'll get to that here in a minute. But that's what we're going to be tapping into. So I bought one of these eBay kits that comes with these little LEDs here with they have a little lens inside. Let me show you the lens. Kind of combines it, and then you stick the strips on there. The reason I bought this one is because of the strips. Most of them, it's a rubber type deal, but these are a hard plastic, almost like a glass-like, so they're gonna give the best, I think, look to it. Most that I see are kind of wavy, a little goofy, so this is what I went with. And I've already set up here on the door. Just kind of going back into the back of it for now, just testing it. But you can see that's where I started. I just kind of went along this line, and I'm gonna tuck it in here and put some more shrink tubing here, and maybe some over here. But let me see if I can turn it on. So right now it's off of this remote, but I want to tie into those wires so it's all the same. But see it here, gives pretty good lighting. It's not wavy like some of the other ones. Let me turn the lights off. Here with the lights off, you can see a little bit better. So it's real nice, real straight. There's not too much waviness to it. However, on this stitching, it is raising it a bit, so I don't think there's anything I can do about that. But you can see I need to cap it off. This is where it actually starts, but you could see where I ran it in through the back, you can see the light reflecting in there. So I'll just take that off. You can see it's still continuing down here too. I'll take this off and put shrink tubing all the way up to this connector. That way you don't see it through here, and it just starts right on this crack. So it kind of lines up, kind of looks factory, little OEM plus look. But let me show you the controller. So if we take a look at the controller, you can see that the lights are all combined into one spot here on this board, which gives you your voltage positive, your red, your green, and your blue. And this operates just like any strip lighting that you would have in your house. I have an example here. There again, there's your voltage positive, your green, your red, your blue. However, all these types of LED lighting strips operate off of 12 volts on this end, and then you can see they're resisted in line to bring them down to the LED operating voltage, which is around 2 to 3 or 4, depending on what color diodes in there. You can see the 3 separate diodes. Each of those has a different resistance value that it wants. So I figured that out. That's what we need to put in line here, because the car operates off of 11 to 12 volts as well. But then it's resisted down, so we need to do that as well. So we'll unsolder here, put resistors in line, and then detach where I showed you earlier on the back here. Maybe not exactly here. I'll probably depin this connector and recrimp it in there, or splice in here. Something non-permanent so I can attach, detach it, and I'll probably crimp this 4-pin connector in there as well, just so we can take it in and out. If I have to take off the door, I don't want things hanging, but I'll probably route it somewhere up here, so it's kind of out of the way, or behind here. this is the leather piece that we're looking at from the front. So something non-permanent, but that's where we're at right now. Once I get the resistors in line, we'll start attaching this to the car, and we'll test if the LED that's in the door can also carry enough voltage and current to supply this LED. I'm hoping it does, but again, we'll see in here in a bit. So just an update on the lighting. I've taken both doors out. I'm doing those inside. I also have the dash out. I just need to figure out a place and how to mount it over here, but I'll do that here in a little bit. But I've got this portion done, even though it's small. We got that going. I just have it tucked in between the vent and the light control, and I got some foam tape on here, and it goes back and it goes underneath, and I'll be tucking this up, and again I'll be tapping into this guy, the footwell light, the lighting for that, so it controls off both of them, but this will just give a little bit extra light when it's underneath. I know you can't really see anything, but it'll give a little extra light to the footwell lights, but that's all tucked up. Let me show you the doors. So I've got both doors finished here. This is the one that I showed earlier. I got the passenger one done. So it starts at this little spot right below the handle, and I have it going all the way up, following the line, and I end it right in this little crack here. There is a little hot spot at the end, just since I can't really tap it off. It can't really bend the way I want to, but that's as good as it's gonna get. It's like day 3 or something, but I want to show you what I've done in the interior and a situation about the LED. So let me show you something. So I've got the dash done. I took this whole part out. I just want to caution everybody, make sure when you take these off, all of these clips are here. I spent about 2 hours last night finding this buried deep in the dash so it doesn't rattle. So I don't know, maybe just tape them or something. Just a little word of advice, but let me show you what we got going in here. So I showed this in a clip before. That's where we have that strip. The doors are still inside, but as you can see, I have it placed here on the dash. I just couldn't find great spots to put it. There's a lot of curves going on, and it's not that it can't turn, but it can't turn, and it can't turn in 3 dimension, only in, I guess, 2, you would say. So it can follow a curve, but not if it comes out or back into the dash. So I had to melt or shape this piece with a heat gun for this curve here. So if you're working with this harder type plastic, almost glass-like, you're gonna have to do some shaping. A little heat, a little bit of a bend, a little heat, a little bit of a bend. Almost like working with glass, I guess. But that's what I got going on here. I'm just avoiding putting it back together till I get the LEDs situated, and I'll talk about that here in a second. So here on the controller for the light strips that I bought, I know it's kind of a mess, but we've been cutting wires and measuring stuff, but you can see that there on the black is voltage positive. So that means that this is a common cathode type LED, where it's positive to all sides, and then it brings down this side to give different colors. It brings them down with voltage and resistance. But the LEDs in the car are common anode. So if we take a look at the LEDs over here, I'm gonna have to take these LEDs out of the housing, desolder them or something, and put in some common anode LEDs. And I guess I'll update you guys when I get that. Okay, so last time I talked about the common cathode, common anode type situation. I was gonna buy new LEDs. However, I found a lady in town who would. This is the LED. You have 6 pins. I'll show a diagram here. So basically all we did was spin that around, and now we have a common cathode type LED. So taking a look here at the diagram, I've drawn an LED here with its 6 pads. You can see these 3 sides are negative, these 3 sides are positive. This means it's that common anode type. So all I had the lady do was flip the LED around, and now you can see that all my negatives are over here, all my positives on this side, my negatives tied to the black, my positives to their colors. So what I'm doing now is I'm wiring up some resistors that we found earlier. We did some measurements and I'll show those here. Okay, so back to our drawing here. If you look at this top diagram, this is me measuring the LED strip. So this is what it came with out of the box. We have our positive 12 volt input here. It's still set up in common anode configuration. So with the LED at white, we get these voltage and current values for the individual diodes on each LED. We got these values so we can compare them to the car values here. So you can see this is the LEDs: green, blue, red, and white. We're mainly focused on the white here because those we want to use in conjunction with these values to get a match for the white balance, so that the LEDs that we're putting in aren't pinkish compared to the white on the car. So we're going to be using this equation here. Resistance is equal to our voltage source, which are these values, minus the voltage drop across our LEDs, which are these values, all over the current of our LEDs, which again are here in milliamps. So plugging those in to each formula, we get 340 for red, 300 for green, and 356 for blue. One thing to note, however, is here we have 0.02, which is 20 milliamps. It really should be 43 milliamps. However, we thought that the LED strip should be operating at about 50 milliamps in total. So we just kind of matched it to the other ones at 29, a little less for 20 milliamps. This was just because red is a lower wavelength, lower energy. So I think we are getting away with it. I'll see in the long run. But again, after those calculations, we ended up with our final values here. Green is 300, blue and red, both at 360 ohms. And I'll talk about that here in a second as well. So in between the stock Ford harness and then my LEDs, they trail off here. I'll put those resistors right here and I'll show that when that's done. That should give us the correct voltage. And we also accounted in those calculations earlier for the white balance. So white should be relatively the same. So I'll check back in once I got the LED in this door. I have it on the other, but I'm just gonna go ahead and make all the little resistor harnesses, put them in, and then I'll show you the end result, I guess. Before I put everything in, I want to show you guys the harnessing for the footwell lights. So I showed you the doors, but here is the footwell lights. I took both out. This is your LED, that's the harness. I took it out. This is really big because sadly I had to use some T-taps because I did not want to desolder the LED from this side, and I could not depin it here. Maybe I'm just too stupid, but I just went with the T-taps. I hate them. I know people like them. They are easy, but I just like a nice clean result. But this is fine, just a big chunky harness. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to making the resistor harnesses, and I'll show you guys the end result. It's finally time. I finished all the lighting last night. I tested it out, looks great. So I'm gonna kill the lights and I'm gonna get in the car and show you guys the end result. So here we are in the car. It's a moment of truth. And the benefit of going through all that struggle is I can edit my light colors by going through the My Color system here and turning everything on at once. So here we go. Here is the final result. We got both doors done, they look great. The dash portions there and there, again my door, and it's synced up with, I guess you can see the reflection on my bare feet of the light that matches. Same with in the door latch here. So we can go in here, we can change all that lighting, and everything changes together. So there you have it, a full ambient light system for the Mustang with the strips. Feels like a BMW now. It took me, I think I started last Wednesday. It's now the following Wednesday. So it took me about a week. If you guys have questions or if you're in the Tucson area, I guess you can ask me in person, but if you guys have questions, you can leave them down in the comments. I'll try and answer everything that's down there. I'll try and link the, it was actually off AliExpress, the lighting system that I got. So I'll try and link that in the description below. And yeah, I guess leave your comments below if you have questions, but thanks for watching.
Don't matter who winning it, ain't no getting to me, bitch. I wore it, I got it. Knock a motherfucker cold up on the floor. They had me with the shotty. And lately I've been falling, never fond of the heights. I'm finding it hard, get out the dark and follow the lights. Quit hiding behind these blinds and gain your control. Let the sun shine in and make the music for your soul. I'm bona fide.